Welcome everyone to the LEC 2024 Winter Split live from the brand new Riot Games Arena in Berlin, Germany. We've got fresh teams, fresh players, a fresh studio, as you can see, as we kick off the 12th year of our league. I had to do a little count on my fingers like a child because it's kind of difficult when we were preparing this earlier, because it has been 12 years of this, and now in the next few weeks we'll find out who's going to shine. Is it going to be one of the newcomers? Is it going to be one of the old, trusted people we have seen before? Well, I'm still here. My name is Shox, but I'm joined by a wonderful panel of Jamada, Broxa, and Medic to kick off this 12th year of the madness, Jamada.
Yeah, I know, it's incredible. I've only been here basically a year and a half, so I've not seen all of it, but it's lovely.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing. There's a lot in the air, right, Medic?
Yeah, there really is. I've been here for half of the LEC's life, which is actually really surprising to me. I still think I'm the new boy on the block, but it's great to be here and great to be joined, obviously, by Jamada and Broxa, who are not debuting, but you still feel like fresh faces, new blood for us to slowly devour here in the LEC.
Broxa, it's great that we... oh, devour, is that what you said?
I'm kind of nervous now.
I think he's talking to you specifically.
I don't know what to say. Just get me out of here.
Get me out of there. Perfect, because we need to take a look at a few things. And first things first, our LEC format did receive some minor tweaks after collecting everyone's feedback from last year. So let's check it out.
The 2024 season of the LEC is about to kick off, and that means it's time to update you on how the league will work. You may remember that last year we had some minor changes to our entire format. And while most of it was very well received, we have heard all the feedback and made some adjustments for 2024. Let's get into it. Update your schedules, because the LEC will now start 1 hour earlier at 5 p.m. CET. The 3-split structure of winter, spring, and summer into the season finals will remain, but break weeks will be moved around more optimally between the splits. The breaks between winter, spring, and MSI will be increased by 1 week, and the break between summer and the season finals will be reduced by 1 week. Qualifications to MSI are the same as last year, with the winter and spring champions representing EMEA as the 2nd and 1st seed respectively. Worlds qualification will work differently now, with the summer champions securing at minimum the lowest seed at Worlds, while the remaining spots will be claimed based on placement in the season finals. Now let's dial it back a little and take a look at the LEC splits. Group stage and playoffs have performed a fusion dance and merged into a single bracket we've creatively named Playoffs, with the same best of 3s and best of 5s crowning our splits champions at the end. Also, we will be introducing repeat matchup protection in the lower bracket, so SK can rest a little bit easier this year.
Fnatic take down SK! And what a performance from a team that was just beaten by SK last week.
Qualifying to the season finals has been updated as well. The top 3 teams from the summer split, the winner of the winter split, and the winner of the spring split will auto-qualify into the season finals. Any remaining slots are awarded to the teams who earned the most championship points throughout the year. Oh, and yes, the amount of points you get per split has also changed. The season finals itself is still 3 rounds of lower and upper bracket best of 5s with nothing but the best of the best the LEC has to offer, culminating in our München Roadshow, where one team will stand above the others, earning the right to lift our LEC trophy and represent EMEA at Worlds as our #1 seed. 2023 saw a huge shakeup of our competitive format, and we are committed to making 2024 even better. You don't want to miss it.
See, don't tell us we never listen to you. We make it work, right?
Yeah, I think it's great to see the changes, right? I especially think having the top 3 teams of summer definitely qualify for season finals kind of irons out some of the issues that perhaps we had last summer. I also think the fact that, we'll have one team qualifying through championship points. We might have a couple more depending on who consistently wins, but having less teams defined by championship points and less places defined by championship points just makes it a lot simpler for people to know who's going to season finals, who's going to Worlds, and that degree of simplicity is really important and allows us just a bit of extra leeway when it comes to the end of summer.
Last year are generally happy for another year of kind of the same way we organize the splits?
Yeah, I think really the changes in formats can be described as same as last year, just better. Like it's very similar, but it's improved, and I think we're moving in a great direction. Last year was very different for me as somebody who's also been around the scene for long. It took a bit of getting used to, but by the end of it, I really understood why these changes were made, and it felt like there was so much excitement, so much meaning to each split, which is something that I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we need it indeed. And Montpellier was, of course, a great crowning day for that. But, you got to change. You got to keep with it. And the same goes for our players. We do have a lot of rookies once again. So we wanted to take a look at the rookie class of Winter 2024. And Jamada, as per usual, we see that EMEA system, the EMEA Masters, the regional leagues, you see a lot of push and pull from both ways. Players coming in for the first time. Also players that have been here, that have been there, are now back. It's cool to see.
Yeah, the regional league's my home for a long time as well, so it's lovely to see all this representation. Of course, Mad Lions Koi, the big bringer up of a lot of those players in this split.
They're bending the stats, actually.
Yeah, they are quite literally bending the stats. So it's going to be really, as always, interesting to see these new faces, how they perform, especially in their rookie split, right? It is often make or break for a lot of these players. So it's always going to be one of those things where, you look at these rookie players, if they have that fantastic opening split, they could end up kind of just continuing to rise throughout the year. We saw it with Yike last year.
Should we get ready?
And I think the make or break part is what is really interesting here, because realistically, sure, there's 8 rookies coming in right now, but next year, maybe 3, 4 of them are going to be left, if even that many, because the competition is really ruthless. And we've seen it time and time again, new players coming in, sticking around for a couple of weeks. But if they don't perform under that pressure from the get-go, which is near impossible as a rookie, by the way, then they're out and they might not ever get a chance again. So they got to be in the right mental state to perform from day one.
What we were talking about yesterday, Medic also was, I believe it was Finn that said, yeah, you come in as a mid laner and what? You're supposed to be the next Caps or Perks or whatever. It's so difficult and it goes for every role. It's so stacked, and sometimes you only get one split.
Every game being as important as it is, and seeing some of the great names that are on the sidelines right now, you just have to look at our AD, right? Like Broxer's not playing at the moment, Trimby, Finn, who are all appearing on the show. There's so many good names. I mean, true. We announced it. We did the.
We did.
It's fine.
Yeah,
I didn't I'm not Yankos. It's okay.
It's okay.
Anyway, there's so many great names on the sidelines that it's so easy for it to be one split before you're out. Alongside that, the patch just changed. The whole map changed. All the items changed. Like, you've had a bit of time to practice on it, but imagine coming in and being like, "Hey guys, so AD LeBlanc is now really good. You ever played that before? Oh no, you're an AP mid laner mostly. Well, time to learn."
Sad. Yeah, you just gotta build up your, dare I say it, legacies as you go. So we're going to be taking a look at all those rookies in depth today as well. But we wanted to play a little game to talk about some of the player stories that we found most interesting. And we're going to do it via Narrative Watch, because Medic is here. We have a couple of categories, which I think you'll love saying. Do you want to announce the categories?
Yeah, of course I do. So these are my favorite 3 words in LEC history. We have lasting legacies, desolate dynasties, and the future kings of the LEC.
Explain it a little bit. What are these? What is lasting legacy? What is desolate dynasty?
So lasting legacy as a category, the intention was someone that has been in the LEC for a while that is now fully establishing their legacy. We're not looking for people like Caps who've been here for ages, or Hans Sama, someone that everyone knows is great. We're looking for someone that has now risen to the top and can continue. And then we have desolate dynasty, which is someone who perhaps is on a bit of a downturn in their career. Someone that this year needs to prove they belong amongst the greats still. And then the last one is future kings, mostly rookies I expect to see here, people that we want to see really rise up this year, and we expect to see rising up to the top of the tables.
All right, who wants to kick it off and tell me who's going where? Who do you want to talk about?
Yamada,
who are you dying to talk about?
On you.
Oh, the pressure is on me. Lasting legacy, if I recall correctly, I would have put Perks down.
Okay, you did it, so not me, so.
Oh gosh, I've almost forgotten. Yeah, so for me, lasting legacy, Perks. It's also kind of one of those things to me where it's a split where he's had a very long history of success. Last year wasn't great. Now is kind of the time where you want to kind of reinstate yourself with that very, very storied history that he's got behind him.
I mean, he's done enough to already have that legacy and that moniker in the LEC for sure. We're going to see how many chapters he can add to that. But I do see Broken Blade there from Broxa and Elyoya from Medic. Elyoya.
So I think Elioya has been one of the best junglers in the league for a few years and consistently is there. And this year, I think, is his opportunity to prove that he's like not Jankos level in terms of achievements, but that he can do what perhaps Jankos did last year with Heretics. Jankos took a team that shouldn't have been as good as it was and showed how his leadership and how his control of the game made them, elevated them into something greater than the sum of their parts. Elioya has basically handpicked this team, or has been a key component of how this team has been made. All of those players are people that he knows or has played with before. The coaching staff is in a similar vein. If this year he can elevate that Mad Lions lineup from the bottom of the table, which is where a lot of people think they're likely to be, to something greater than that, I think he cements his legacy in the LEC.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to look at. Broxa, you put Broken Blade, of course, super successful regionally, specifically in the LEC.
For me, it's not only about being successful in the past years, because obviously he's found success in both EU and NA, but also someone who's underrated, who could really go the extra mile if we look into the future. And I think many didn't really consider Broken Blade the biggest part of G2's success last year. Even in the offseason, a lot of people were saying maybe they should consider getting a different top laner, because there's always no Western top laners performed at Worlds. But Broken Blade throughout the entire year showed that he has the deepest champion pool, he's the most flexible player, and him being able to lock in Kled, Yone, Carmen Top, the list goes on, really gave G2 an extra edge. And I'm so happy they decided to stick with what they got, keep growing after difficult Worlds, and really start showing up even more so this year.
And interestingly enough, across this lasting legacy, Perks does show up in your other rankings, but it's not in the same category. I think it's in Desolate Dynasty twice for Broxa and for Medic. So that means that for you guys, it's more about redemption and showing that you still got it as opposed to that you had it all along.
Yeah, I think it has to be. Like, everyone knows Perks is one of the greats of EU. He was so consistently amazing when he was teamed up with Caps. They were winning title after title after title. But you have to remember, Perks only won one of the 4 titles they won together playing mid lane. The rest of the time he was playing AD carry. The question now is, after a disappointing 2022 and 2023, can Perks start to show he is an international quality mid lane, or at least he can carry a team to internationals? Because he hasn't been to Worlds since 2021. He hasn't been to MSI since, I think, 2019. It's been a long, maybe 2020? Anyway, numbers don't matter. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while since Perks was there. He needs to show this year, with his former roster, that he can start to step up and continue his dynasty.
Yeah, Upset is
You
there.
agree with me, right, Boxer? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, he does. We don't have that much time, so he's going to have to agree with you. Jamada, you got Upset in there?
Yeah, so, you know, I was also kind of debating whether or not I'd have Perks in Lasting Legacy because of the history, or actually Desolate Dynasty. I landed on Upset in the end because I feel like last year on the Vitality project, it just didn't really work out. And years previous, Upset had continued to be basically our star AD carry amongst a couple of other names. So now joining KC on another big, I wouldn't quite say super roster project, but another roster with a lot of expectations. This is kind of the pivotal moment you would want to have that kind of redemption arc to start.
You're right. It's a great time for him, and maybe it will be for the whole KC roster. So let's take a look at Future Kings and who we have there, if you agreed. Oh, yeah, we have Douglas, Saken, and nobody.
I mean, there is someone, but we'll get to it
we'll
after
get
these
to that
guys have
later.
explained that.
No, I love seeing Saken there. Broxa, of course. I think so many eyes are on the org in general, and then also on him. I think a lot with the mid expectations is this going to be someone that is going to be a star for years to come in the LEC?
Yeah, and the interesting part about Saken is that he's not a rookie because he has played in the LEC before, but last time he played was in 2020 with Vitality, and his win record was 1 win, 11 losses, a complete train wreck, which wasn't even really his fault. He was just in a doomed team. So I'm so happy and grateful that after that he got another shot, and now he's here to hopefully prove that he can compete with the best mid laners in the league.
Definitely so. 4 times EU Masters EMEA champion, of course, all eyes on him. And then Douglas is in the category of Future King, which I think will interest a lot of people as to your reasoning.
It's a bit of a spicy choice. I could have very easily landed on Saken. I think it's the easy way out. But to me, I always like to keep my eyes on players that I personally covered quite a while ago. And Douglas was a player that came up like 3 or 4 years ago from the Greek region of all places on Anorthosis, Famagusta. And he really impressed. And then last year in summer, despite Vitality crashing, got brought up for the last 3 games, I think it was, of that summer regular season, and he looked great. So I'm kind of looking forward to see what he can do now with basically a fresh start in the LEC from the beginning of a split.
Yeah, it will be nice to see. Medic, you said you had a surprise for us?
Well, yeah, well, I was watching a tournament over the off-season, hosted by Solar, who is a German streamer, does casting stuff as well. And I saw a support in that tournament that I actually think is the next future king of the LEC. If we can roll the tape, that would be great. He's just such a good support. And if you listen to the casters as well, they talk about how good he is.
It's really fighting here.
Okay,
Nice ult from
this
Kami.
can look good, this can look good.
Shockwave only on the Nautilus. This is
Oh
huge.
my
This
god,
is huge.
Medic
Varus
is
getting
actually
off so many
1v9. Actually, Medic 1v9.
Yeah, Medic is so good. Like,
Wow.
I'm not even
No,
joking.
this is true.
Oh, it's actually
How is this
happened.
guy not challenger?
I'm surprised I'm not
how is
challenger
he
too.
not
How is that guy not
But
challenger?
Medic,
It's
why are you
true.
playing Nautilus? You're a Rakan one trick.
Vakan was banned against me every game. They were so scared.
So in this moment you're winning. Did you run it down and lose at the end because you were not playing Rakan?
Yes, we did lose that game.
Yeah, there we go.
However,
And that is
Got
exactly
him.
why you're here. And you're not on the Rift, unfortunately, in the LEC.
You just wait. I'm going to be the first 35-year-old to be on the LEC. Just you wait, Aphil.
There is something that we need you for, though, generally, and that is your beautiful golden voice. And maybe put it to use as we are celebrating some new additions to our on-air talent team from this for this split, rather. Can you give our new face a proper introduction?
I think I can try that. Introducing a player so good that he named himself and proclaimed himself that he makes every single team better, except for CLG, but we ignore that because that's an A. Having never won a Game 5 in a best of 5, boasting a wide champion pool and an even wider jawline. He's only 17 years old. It's the Flying Finn, although he's from Sweden. It's Finn!
Thank you. What an incredible introduction. I
Oh,
didn't
that's
expect
amazing.
that.
Did you like that walking through the tunnel, hearing your
I
name?
felt like I was playing today.
Oh, good stuff. Welcome, Finn. Yeah, of course, for people watching, he's not playing today. That's why he's joining us on the talent team. This is super exciting, Finn. Are you excited to cover the league, this split on this side?
I'm so excited and nervous. I feel like I'm more nervous than the players are right now, but it's just gonna be
Maybe.
so fun. Like
Yeah.
with the new patch and all, I think there's so much to talk about. I feel like there's just so much to break down, and I'm excited.
Yeah, we've had some good sessions preparing, and I'm really excited about everything you all have to say. But of course, Euphoria is still here as well, and Dracos has a brand new co-host. Let's check it out.
It's time to get into the tier list, the main course of this episode. You know, it's the usual. It's S to D tier. Yeah, we're going to make a great tier list here. And we'll pop it up on your screen. We're going to populate it.
I like how confident you are in this after last year's fiasco.
Okay, Phil, I'm going to say, God damn it, Phil, and you're going to pay for that swear jar. What the? I'm going to get roasted about this for the rest of my career. It is S to D tier. Please ignore the BDS tier that our producer so carefully put at the top. I'm glad it was easily deletable, though, because you could have just made that permanent. So, well played. Yeah, we kind of put BDS tier at the top once
Kind of
upon
got
a
roasted
time.
a little bit. Just a small
Didn't
bit.
age well.
Yeah.
They did beat Golden Guardians, though. So, who's laughing now, Euphoria
I
listeners?
did. I was really hoping. By the way, quick side note: when we went to Worlds, I renamed the passcode on my internet. If any of the American lads wanted to try and connect to BDS will win. So if they wanted to ever get off or get onto my Wi-Fi on my phone because I had free internet,
Yeah.
they would have.
Oh,
had to
so
put
you're
it
like,
in,
you
but-
tether, and you're like, oh, do you guys need data while you're
Yeah,
here?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
BDS
Just
will
type
win.
this in. Just type in
Yeah.
BDS will win for
Yeah,
me. And copy paste that on your Twitter. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
A great duo there for Euphoria this year, Dagda versus Dracos. I hope he gets to hang on to his co-host a little bit longer this time. They did have a final tier list as well, and you can check out the full episode of Euphoria on youtube.com/LEC. Now, we also asked all of our analysts to send in their tier list. So because Finn is the newest face, I think we'll show yours first. So you can tell us
So I
about
can
your
embarrass
choices.
myself.
I wonder, I haven't seen them, so I wonder how controversial they are. How controversial is yours?
I don't think it's that controversial. I think Fnatic and G2 being at the top is expected by most people. What I am hopeful for, though, is Giants X and K-Corp, because I feel like these teams are the most with the most potential to like go reach the top and compete with Fnatic and G2 eventually. We will see what happens in winter. No one knows, but I have a hope that eventually K-Corp and GX will be up there with them. And then it comes the middle of the pack, and I feel like that's where the Wild West starts. There's just no way to see it clearly. I don't know what you think, Broxa.
No way to see it clearly, but you still put Mad and Vitality or MDK and Vitality at the bottom. So
yeah, I prefer talking about the good people.
Okay.
I mean, I think Mad and Vitality have a lot to prove. Obviously, like being at a D tier now, it means nothing in the end if you overperform or perform like to the skies, you know? Like Mad Lions has made a gamble, and I want to see it pay off.
Okay, Broxa, let's see yours then.
Yeah, one thing that's rather different in mine compared to Finn's is that you may find Carmen Corp a little bit lower. Oof. I think my top 2 and my bottom 2 was pretty locked. I believe G2 is going to finish first, Fnatic second, SK Mad, sorry, but right at the bottom you go. And then there's all the 6 teams in between. And I had a really hard time figuring out where to place each team. I think Heretics has a lot of potential, and I ended up putting them third, because I think they might have a bit of a rough start the first week, but these guys with their lineup and the players who all know each other pretty well from the past and have played with each other across different teams, they're going to synergize well. They're going to have the power of friendship and happiness, veterancy, experience to bring them really far. But again, I think once you move further down again, it's so hard to predict. And everything is just really going to come down to which team gets synergy the fastest, because every year it's complete chaos the first couple of weeks, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, something unexpected always happens. You say it's hard to say, but 2 out of 3 so far have put Matt at the bottom. So,
I've got news for you.
Yes, Shimada, tell me about your tier list.
You might find Matt at the bottom of my tier list.
What's going on, guys? A lot of unproven players in the LEC, I think, right?
Yeah, it's mostly that, right?
Yeah.
It's Elyoya and 4 rookies. Not that no one necessarily believes in the 4 rookies, it's just that the LEC has continued to get more and more competitive, so it is a little bit hard to put your faith immediately behind that lineup, so they do remain down there. I think, for the most part, though, like everyone else, Fnatic, G2, kind of top 2, off the top of my head, because it's not on the screen in front of me. I can also turn behind me, I guess, yeah. Giant X, Heretics, same reasons. Vibes will be immaculate on Heretics. I don't think they're ever going to tilt, and I'm a Giant X believer. I really liked what I saw from Jackie's in some of the in-houses over the off-season. And yeah, I guess I'm probably the only person that doesn't really have as much faith in Carmine Core as the rest of my panel here. I feel like for Winter, I'm not so sure, but I think that's the Carmine Core roster is a roster that I'm expecting to grow into as the year progresses, as opposed to being, out the blocks in Winter.
I think for Matt, something that scares me a lot is not only the fact there are 4 rookies, but Elyoya looked bad last year. And if you compare him to someone like Jankos, Jankos was on an objectively worse team, but he looked like the best jungler in the league. And he was able to bring his leadership to make a big difference. And if Elyoya in that team couldn't look like one of the best junglers, I'm not sure how this is going to go. I certainly hope he's improved his leadership, perhaps gotten a little bit of help from the org to really get ready, because there's a lot of pressure on him and he has to play at his absolute best.
I like it. A really big mission for him, and we've got our first soundbite. Thanks to Broxa as well. And after the break, we'll have a closer look at the new season changes. But first, let's check out the latest music video banger by Dracos and Vetty.
I believed in winter, guess that makes me naive. 'Cause when I think about London, I can't even breathe. Each day at 1647, I hang my head and cry. Nisky facial expressions and Twitter on fire. It's okay, it's fine, just a storm we can weather. BDS got foreseed and we believed that we were better. But despair is all you'll ever get from super teams in LEC. Our boys got knocked out in Swiss, yeah, we lost the energy. Oh, how are G2 gonna live that down? Oh, we're one region and we're full of clowns.
What the hell, man?
man.
Do you think we want to listen to that depressing shit?
We lost to NA, dude. What else are we gonna sing about? Reckless?
This is who we are now. Pain, anguish, country.
Exactly.
The only clowns in our region are you two.
Why don't you play something that makes us hyped?
And maybe something that doesn't suck?
How about you make a song about how we're gonna stomp everyone this year? How we're gonna be the best.
Sidebar.
We're musicians, not magicians. There's nothing we can do here.
I think I have an idea.
What do you mean you think you have an idea?
Listen, on my 4 count, just play some chords, okay?
Any chord?
1, 2, 3.
I know you're thinking that we lost our way. Adam's God's a Shakespeare tragedy. Humanoid screen showing shades of grey. The faithful praying for some better days. And they're just looking for something new. But my boy, you got a brand new crew. And if you think that our boy Mickey is done, he's not done. Remember that he technically beat T1. Fight through the fray. We're here to stay. The path might be hard, but we know the way. The peak is in sight. We'll be climbing all night. Reignite the fire of our past. We're gonna stand and deliver. Give it everything we got while we keep getting bigger. Don't give a single damn about the thoughts of the rest. Cause I know the LEC is gonna be the best. We are back and we have faces old and new. Heretics went and rebuilt the old G2. And in the distance you will see a wall of blue. Casey's here and they have come to take their due. Vitality will surely be the super team this time. The caps you see from memories will soon relive his prime. The fanatic screams that fill our dreams are loud and still alive. And all you need is LEC to come back in your life. Fight through the fray. We're here to stay. The path might be hard, but we know the way. The peak is in sight. We'll be climbing all night. Reignite the fire of our past. We're gonna stand and deliver. Give it everything we got while we keep getting bigger. Don't give a single damn about the thoughts of the rest. Cause I know the LEC is gonna be the best. We're gonna stand and deliver. Give you everything we got while we keep getting bigger. Don't give a single damn about the thoughts of the rest. Cause I know the LEC is gonna be the best.
That's right! Best in the world!
Well,
We're winning worlds! We're winning MSI! We're winning Battle of the Atlantic whenever they bring that back! There's nothing we can't do! Nothing! Nothing!
Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2024 LEC Winter Split. A new season is upon us, and while the LCK's Rule of the Rift event was on 14.1, the LEC will be the first region to play official games on the newest patch. In case you haven't caught all the changes, here's a quick update in the LEC patch rundown. First up, mythic items have been removed, and to fill in the gaps, over 20 new items are offered by the shopkeeper. Stopwatch has also been removed, which should take some playmaking away from non-mages who won't end up building Zhonyas. There's also a brand new set of objectives on the map. 3 void grubs that spawn from minute 5 and respawn once 4 minutes after their first death. For every void grub slain, your team gains a stack, which deals extra damage to towers. If you get to 5 or 6 stacks, you gain extra help from void mites to help you take down structures later in the game. Now you might wonder, well, what about our dear friend Shelly? Fear not, she's still here with a fresh new look. Rift Herald will take over from the Void Grubs at 14 minutes, and you and one of your teammates can now Scion Speedway her around the map, knocking up enemies and dealing extra damage to turrets. The charge ends upon collision with a structure or terrain, reducing the Herald's health by 66% and ejecting the player 200 units in the opposite direction to the charge. The blue, red buff, and Scuttlecrab have also been granted new abilities from the Void. After Baron spawns at 20 minutes, the blue and red buff will rise as the Voidborn Sentinel and Brambleback with increased durability and 30% more health. This comes with a bigger reward though, as the buff will be granted now to the full team. Similarly, the Rift Scuttlers will turn into the Voidborn Scuttler, and taking it down will reveal all champions and enemy wards in a large surrounding area. Staying in the Void with the purple worm, Baron Nashor has been redesigned, and the pit now comes with 3 different forms. The Hunting Baron Pit, which is the one we've all known for years and years, the Territorial Baron Pit with an easier line of entry from the river, and the All-Seeing Baron Pit, the craziest of them all with new angles of attack. Each Baron will also have its own signature move, so you best be careful. Speaking of territorial changes, in all lanes as well as the jungle, the map has been reshaped, providing new ganking paths for junglers, making it even more important to set up vision in the early game. Oh, so Wei is also out, and I'm still reading his abilities. So far, all I really understand is he has damage on his Q, utility on his W, and CC on his E, but every ability has 3 abilities, so in total he has 10. The Visionary will be enabled for week 1 of the LEC, and we'll see if the pros make any more sense of it than I do.
Creativity is limitless.
Those were some of the changes on the new patch, but there's a lot of them, so make sure to check out the full patch notes as well. You can see the changes in the LEC starting from week 1 as we open the 2024 season on patch 14.1. We'll see you on the Rift.
Sure, we will. Thank you so much for that, Medic. First question, Broxa. More fun or less fun for junglers?
Oh. Ooh, probably less fun, I would say.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's like, it's a little bit difficult for us to gank now.
Yeah.
I like having those creative openings. I like being able to run from lane to lane and kill everybody, but it seems like the laners have gotten fed up getting killed, and now here we are. We are stuck farming some void grubs instead of killing people.
You are. You do have a lot more to farm, but on the other hand, that means, Jamada, that the laners now really have a chance to shine, right? Especially when you're in that top lane, to take an example, right? You can really influence that advantage you can get out of the lane specifically if we're not going to see that many ganks.
Yeah, could be more scaling picks as a whole, right?
No!
I know.
You're not speaking my language.
I know. But what it does mean is the team fights might be more explosive when they do happen, because the champions are probably going to be a lot more geared around team fighting, as they already were.
And there's also a lot of damage.
And there is also a lot of damage.
Especially if you're a mid laner, if you're an AP player. Anyways, Finn, where is he? He just joined and I can't find him. Where are you, Finn? What are you up to?
Howdy. My name is Finn, and we got a new set of creatures upstream on the Rift, and I recommend that y'all take some time of your day taking care of them. And should you kill 3 of them rascals, you'll find yourself taking the tower faster than Larsen can lock in a 0. Kill 5, and you'll have a friend spawn to help you out. A little grublet, if you will. Kill 6, and you get 2 of them, which serves as a good replacement for your bot lane fellas. Because while you're down there pummeling them purple pack of paste, they'll be down there surfing longer than a draft meeting against G2, and that's pretty darn long. I hope you're ready to drop at least a wave or two. At least top laners finally have a tool to drag the action to their side of the map. For too long, we've had to go down there and fight their battles. No more, no sir. Sorry, Renekton. Y'all no longer have an excuse to be 0-0-0 at 25 minutes. Get your grubs now. Thanks.
No, thank you. But Finn, I think he's coming over to us.
Yes.
So...
That guy was like...
Are you going to keep talking like that or
No,
not?
don't invite him back again, ever again. That was awful. I don't know who that guy is.
I love it. It's a great introduction to being a talent on the LEC, actually. Immediately doing a segment.
Setting
and then
the bar low, yeah.
Yeah, no, very high,
very
high.
high.
I love it, I love it. Are we generally a fan, though, of the Void Grubs and the Void Mites?
Yeah, I think it gives top laners something to do in the early stage, for one. Junglers also kind of have another reason to not continually spam gank now that there's also another objective on the map from 5 minutes alongside the dragon. And yeah, just generally, I think more things to do tends to be a better thing.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like it's very important now in the early game to not waste your time. Like every time you could be ganking or farming, you have to make sure you use your time well, because if you don't, then the enemies will get a turn to do the grubs or invade your camps. Like you can't just do full clear and repeat anymore. I feel like it's not really legal anymore.
Okay. It's not legal anymore. We'll see in game what our junglers decide to do, but there were a lot of changes, and obviously I do expect my analysts to know everything immediately. So we're going to spot the imposter. We're going to take a couple of item paths, and you need to spot the imposter. The first person who sees the mistake can say so. Yes. So there's going to be a build path, and one thing is going to be an imposter. So we can show the first one and take a look.
Ooh,
think out loud for me.
I think I know the problem here.
Okay.
I think this is Sundered Sky, and it's a Phage there, which would make sense because it's health and AD. But I think it's actually a tunneler, because there's no Phage passive on the Sundered Sky.
Whoa!
Wow, yeah.
Okay.
That is what my top lane brain is telling me.
I'm pretty sure you're correct, but I'll get it confirmed.
Yeah.
But also, I'd believe everything you say, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times, as you're a pro player and you need to gear up for the new season, but specifically when you don't have a lot of time, Broxa, do you actually do they know everything in every build path and every single change going into the new LEC season?
I think it's been proven over the years that when it comes to builds, you cannot trust pro players. It's going to be complete madness on social media after today. I don't think anyone's going to have any idea what they're doing. Some teams, for what it's worth, do actually have analysts doing the math and helping guide the players a little bit. But yeah, even for them, it's still pretty new.
It's new territory. However, Finn is winning so far. Let's pull up the second build path and see what is awry here. You should give them a chance, probably, Finn, but let's take a look.
I think I know what's wrong.
Oh
my God! Are you gonna give him a chance, or
yeah.
do you two know what's wrong? I'm gonna give you a poor man's chance.
Oh, ding ding ding! It definitely doesn't build out of Codex. I don't know what it builds out of. I think it's blasting one off the top of my head.
Teamwork, maybe, Finn? It's wrong, actually, Jamada.
It's wrong.
Yeah, it is.
Well, first of all, I think the Codex misses a glowing moat because there's CDR in the Codex, and I might be wrong, but
Also
I think
wrong,
it actually gets built off a needlessly large rod instead of a Codex in total.
That's correct.
But the Codex is also wrong.
No, that's
built
wrong.
path
Sorry,
there.
that's also wrong.
That's also wrong.
Yes, you're thinking of something else, I think.
Wow.
But I can't help you.
I feel so lost.
Quite literally.
I feel like even on the last patch that we played on for a year, this wouldn't really be my thing.
Because it gives movement speed.
Yes.
Oh, it's the Wisp.
Yeah,
that actually makes so much sense.
It's the
now that you see it, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Little boy.
But I like where your brain was at, though, in terms of kind of to try and figure it out. So nobody gets points for this one. But we have one more, I believe.
Gosh darn it.
Teamwork is also good because it's difficult. Here we go.
Oh, ding ding ding. The Kindle gem is building out of the rejuvenation bead. It should be a glowing moat.
Yeah, that can't be a rigid bead.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Great job, Jamada. You brought it in for team analysts and not team, well, ex-pro player. You're also a pro player. But you're more a streamer and an analyst now, right?
I'm everywhere.
Yeah, you're everywhere. So yeah, good. No, but I think it just goes to show how many changes there are and how difficult it is to keep a track of everything, and especially, I guess, to optimize, right? Is it so that pro players, Broxa, since you were flaming them earlier, do they just take the general path that everyone thinks is good as opposed to trying new things out?
I actually heard from different players leading up to this week that they expected there to be a lot of chaos because, again, they haven't had much time to test and experiment, and now that solo queue has just rolled out, people are going to start finding their footing as we go. Because usually pros do find a lot of... Oh, what is...
Oh, it's 16:47. We need to take a break.
nice.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's
Oh,
good job, though. You guys are doing well. Good, yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah, so far, so good indeed. Can I have a... Yeah, thank you so much.
Steal your water here.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
No,
you.
good hustle. Finn, really nice intro.
Lovely, thank you.
Yeah, your segment was also nice.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
Okay. How much time we have left? What can we do in 16:47? A lot, right? What can we still talk about? So
Yeah,
the teams,
totally.
maybe?
Teams.
God, yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll think something out on the spot.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
Oh my gosh, we need to go. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Where were we, Broxa?
Yeah, well...
Build paths.
Build paths, right. So, I think as we go, as solo queue has been played more, the pros are going to start finding their footing, finding the good picks, because now they've just been playing on a little bubble, not in scrims and in houses for a while. Yeah. And yeah, I just expect madness, crazy fighting, lots of kills, and then we'll see.
We will. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, what I felt the most is like a pro player will know exactly what his role wants to buy. And then when you interact with any other role in the game, you're like, whoa, what is it doing? What is it doing?
Especially support. Like, what are you doing now? Like, what's going
why
on?
Why does enemy Rakan have a like shield that activates like when you don't hit them, like a crown? It makes no sense. I'm so mad about it, by the way. Like, why does a support get a free Crown of the Shattered King when he's finished?
Why not?
Because he's like the squishy guy that you should engage on. But if he's tanky when you engage on him, you have no counter. You have to do 2 times. It's
typical top
It's a lot
laner.
of hassle.
Typical top
a lot of
laner.
hassle.
Molding. Let's take a look at today's schedule. We've got 5 games for the coming 3 days, and I'm especially looking at that game 3. We have the debut of KC, and they're going up against Fnatic. Never mind that there's some members who've spent some time on Fnatic that are now on KC, but also the fact, Broxa, that they're finally here. So many years in the making.
Yeah, this is the moment countless fans, people around the scene have been waiting for, and they are going hard mode in week 1 because they're playing Fnatic today, they'll be playing G2 as well, and they are really going to be put to the test. I think, I do want to say in advance, even if things go south for them, Fnatic barely made any changes, so I would give them the edge at the very start of the season, but obviously KC, as they start to gel, I would expect them to look really strong.
Really strong. We'll see. Indeed, we also have a Spanish derby, which is game 5 today with Mad Lions Koi up versus Heretics Finn. That's also going to be a banger for many reasons.
Turbo banger. I'm hyped for Mirwin finally getting into the league.
Are?
I was watching all of his games lately, and I like in the finals, game 1, he just locks in ADR against Cassante. Like, who does that? I just really hope we have a new version of Adam that just comes in and plays his own stuff and doesn't just adapt to the meta like everyone else does. Because so often you see a top laner being in the regional leagues, playing his stuff, doing great, go to LEC, Renekton, Sion, Ornn, Epoop. So I'm really excited to see if he can bring in and keep playing these counter picks and keep putting in the work like he has been doing in the regional leagues.
And how do you pronounce it?
Midvin.
Midvin.
I
we think.
I don't know.
We're not sure. We're going to have to ask, but we'll see.
Can we get Midvin on the desk?
No, you can stay on the desk. Don't worry about it. Our teams, though, they have been very busy, not just preparing for the year, but also producing some banger content, especially roster announcements this off-season. And we're going to start off with some of the content we love to watch, BDS.
What you got for me? Those are the exact words Striker utters at the beginning of every meeting. MenQ has come with a striking proposition. A tricky one, so to say.
You wanna win a split?
To achieve this, they'll need a team. First up, the Master of Distraction. Adam is in his element, just him and his opponent. Always in communication, always in the know. As always, Nuke leads the heist. He knows how to get out of any situation. Luckily, we have the best guy for the job. Without him, the mission is endangered.
Oh shit!
And with him, they get the best support. Every team needs a con man. Someone invisible, flexible, and who knows his way around. He's the difference maker. You're the guy? He is the guy. Striker doesn't show it, but his hand always wanders to his beard when he is impressed. Well, MenQ has brought the oh-so-secret notebook. Ruxy has already gotten to work.
Turn around.
They always do something special, and yeah, they did some team intros last year, and looks like they're still doing them. Where'd they get that car?
That's what I'm thinking.
He's here.
I love it. He's finally arrived, and I think we're going to talk about him as well. But generally, BDS is up first, and they're going to be playing G2 in their very first match in 2024. And Jamada, BDS was a team that surprised us on many, many accounts last year. I think results, but also kind of how they captured our hearts.
Yeah, just a little bit, right? Whether it be the player intros, like we just saw all of last year, kind of winning over the community to straight up performances. And I think a lot of that just has to do with the personality and a lot of the individual growth that we saw from a couple of individuals. Adam, in particular, I think kind of led that charge as someone who, you know, came in very young a couple of years ago, went away and then came back very, very matured. And again, like you mentioned, really did surprise everyone. Everyone had them at like D tier at the start of the year.
Yeah, no, I think what was impressive about BDS last year was their discipline in game. You would always see BDS playing for an early soul point. They would do the dragons, take the steps, set it up properly, be at the Drake 1 minute before, don't let the enemies get there first, and they would do it on repeat, and it would always work. And I feel like a big part behind it was Crowny, like making sure the team was on point, making sure the team was on tempo, and making sure they actually were doing what they were supposed to do. And without him, I wonder how they will operate, if they can keep the fundamentals that they build over the course of the year, or if it will be hard without him.
That's the million-dollar question. Broxa, what do you think? Crowny isn't there anymore, Ice is joining the lineup, and what he brought that maybe doesn't meet the eye.
Yeah, a lot of people from the outside seem to believe that Crowny was the shot caller, and he probably was, but at the same time, BDS clearly believes that he was part of the problem. That's obvious. He's the only player who's now no longer here, and I'm curious to see what their macro is going to look like, because their macro was pretty solid last year, and if it's now a complete disaster, well, clearly they still need Crowny, and if it's better, then, well, sucks Crowny. And
sorry for you. Yeah.
Also, it's worth looking at Ice and comparing him to Noah from Fnatic, because when Fnatic picked him up and he came into the league, he was probably at least a top 2 AD carry mechanically. He was absolutely incredible in team fights. And if Ice can play at the same level throughout the entire game, the early game is probably going to be smoother, and then he can completely take over mid and late game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't necessarily doubt Ice's ability to perform. I've also been looking at him over in the in-houses as well. I think most of us have been in the community, and he's been doing fine. But I think the question kind of lies adjacent to it as, okay, Crowny's out. Who's going to take the leadership role that seemed to be in Crowny's hands? Is it going to be Adam? Is it going to be Sheo as the jungler of the team, right? That tends to be kind of how it goes in the early game for a lot of teams, Roxa. So that's more the biggest question, and I guess we'll have our answer at some point. But coming into the first game of the split against G2, it's a pretty big ask straight out the gate.
Yeah, I feel like it would have to be the mid jungle, because they are the main actors of the play, so to say. Also the support, and that is an unchanged core. They still have the same fundamentals they built, how to play through mid, through jungle, into sides. So it will really have to lean a lot on Nuke and Sheo to smooth ice into this new atmosphere.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see specifically because BDS and Spring were soaring and they were like everyone surprised, I think, together with SK back then. And then you did come to a point where they were a little bit figured out. It was becoming a little bit more handy for teams to beat them. But across the year, I think they continuously improved. They made it to the season finals. They made it, of course, to Worlds as well. I think they were the only one to hold up our honor versus NA as well. So, Broxa, there's a lot of good to build on there.
I'm mostly curious to see if they continue playing the exact same style. I doubt it's going to change with Adam being in the lineup. I respect the fact that they played the same way and locked in Garen versus JDG at Worlds, because that really shows they fully believe and they're going to stand by it. And I think when it comes to shot calling as well, Adam is going to be a key part, because he might not be the primary shot caller in that sense, being a top laner, being on his little island, but at the same time, he was more than willing to just drop waves, roam, force plays on the other side of the map, and I think we're going to continue to see that.
Make it happen, but he's going to be scouted out maybe by G2, and they, on the other side, they brought back their former longtime analyst, Duffman, so he's standing by with lore now.
And thank you so much, Shox and Duffman. Welcome back to the LEC. Happy New Year. It's nice to have you back here in the studio.
It's good to be back.
Tell me about integrating this coaching stuff, because G2 was a well-oiled machine, in the LEC at least. But yeah, how did you implement with the rest of the coaching staff? What is going to be your role, and how happy are you to be back here?
Oh, well, I'm really happy to be back. I think one of the things coming out of last year was watching G2 games. I felt they were a really good, individual team. When someone had an individual advantage, they would really know how to push it, but that sometimes meant forgetting team play stuff, and I think that's what I focus on. So that's my main role, is coming in to remind them they can go for this individual outplay, but there's a lot of team play that they could be doing instead.
It must be easier to identify what doesn't go right when you have an outside look, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's something they were really happy with me coming in, where I can go over old discussions from a different point of view and bring them up again, rather than just them talking about the same thing over and over.
Back to where you got the most success, I want to say here with G2, I heard from the rest of the team that Mickey actually was the one who requested you. Can you tell me a bit more about this and what it means to you to have these privileged relationships with players that he would request you?
Yeah, it's a big part of it. After Worlds, me and Mickey went to Japan for a few days, and while we were there, we were just obviously talking about our years, and he was describing problems he was having, in terms of in-game, what he felt they needed to work on, and I'd noticed a lot of stuff. So I showed him what I felt his team could get better at, and he was like, okay, this is good, and he wanted to work with me again.
How has it been working so far with the rest of the team as well?
It's been really good. Okay. This has been the most fulfilling few months in esports for me so far. I think just coming into, as you said, a well-oiled machine, I'm just finding places I can help without having to force things too much. It just feels really natural.
And I do feel like it's quite poetic that you open the season and come back with G2 playing against BDS. Anything you can tell me about this matchup?
Yeah, it's a little bit spicy. I do enjoy the fact that they put BDS first, so that gives a little bit of extra motivation. But yeah, it's the first game of the season. It's a bit of a random situation with all the patch stuff, so it's going to be a bit interesting either way.
Wishing you the best of luck,
Thank you
of course, today and the rest of the season. Great to have you back again, Duffman. And Shox, back to you.
Thank you so much. So happy to have Duffman back. Of course, part of some of the greatest successes G2 has had in yesteryear. And of course, formerly a part of BDS as well. So let's talk a little bit about G2 and about their year starting in this game. They made a multi-year commitment to this roster. They want to drive it home. They want to keep going and building it, Broxa. So tell me what you saw from them last year and how or what they want to build on that you want to see.
I think this is one of the things that has frustrated me the most being in esports, that you always make changes after Worlds. The lineup always gets screwed, there's coaching changes, but this time around, they kept all players, they kept the core of it, and they said, well, we had an amazing year, we were not able to perform at Worlds against the best, so we're going to bring in someone like Duffman to help us get to that level as a team, so we're not only good individually, and I love it. I think coming into the very start of the split, they're going to be the clear favorites because they were amazing regionally. And I'm so excited to see how fast they can grow and where they're going to be at the end of the split.
I mean, realistically, the bar is here.
Yes.
The bar is set very high for G2. They want to win Worlds, and they've made it very, very clear as well. So I think that's what we have to hold them to. and expect this kind of brilliance that we saw almost all of last year, that fluid gameplay that it just works by itself almost, with great individual talent and individual macro as well. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see how they...
I think we all are. We know that it works because they're the Scrim World Champions.
Oh, yeah.
But we just don't know if it's going to work internationally. But the thing is, Jamada, we don't need to think about that for at least like 3 months.
Yeah, you know, until MSI rolls around. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing for this G2 roster. A lot of winter, a lot of spring is going to be about trying to sort of reinvent themselves and prepare for that international stage so that they look, you know, like a slightly different version or a more enhanced version, which would perhaps be a little bit more reminiscent of older days where they always had a trick up their sleeve. I feel like perhaps they've lost that a little bit in some of their characteristics, and that could be one avenue that they look to kind of explore.
Yeah, we know that they have a really robust system behind it, right, to make it work, and it has worked out really, really well. Someone we're still looking at, of course, is Yike. He was thrown really into the fire from that first week in the LEC, Broxa, but I think he amazed many, many people with his development so far.
I think Yike is what all of the 8 rookies that just came in want to be, because from the get-go he was impressive, he was confident, he came in as a rookie and got the entire G2 team to play around him in a way that they hadn't ever played around the jungler before. Feels bad for Jankos, but I think ultimately, if that is how good he is in year 1, amazing things are to come in year 2.
Yeah, the big question is going to be which teams are going to be able to stand up to them. Now, we had a lot of changes, so we have to believe that someone will, right, in their continued development. But will it be in this first game? Finn, how much chances do you give BDS, knowing, though, that, you know, Adam likes to try things. He has a whole new patch to play around with.
It is very wild today.
It's wild,
if there's going to be an upset, it's today. I'm looking most at the bot lane matchup, because I feel like it's up to Ice, and I think Labrov had a great Worlds, by the way. Labrov, very, very high-level player. I think it's up to the BDS bot lane to try to create a lead down there, because G2's bot lane is their main, it's their main weapon. Like that's where they generate the most wins. It's through their bot lane just stomping the enemy bot and just translating that to the rest of the map. So I'm excited to see how they match up.
Yeah, we'll see indeed, especially with how you know, how things are going to work in bot lane and how much you have to make your own advantages happen. We'll take a look at that, but that's all from us here at the desk. Let's kick off the 2024 season in our brand new studio with BDS versus G2.
The first time I played in like a big stadium, that moment kind of just changed my life, because I loved the cheer from when we did like a huge outplay. It was kind of the moment that I decided that, hey, I actually want to go pro. Since then I've been playing LEC.
Carmaker take their 4th EMEA Masters title.
We've been craving to go to LEC for a few years now, so everyone is super motivated to get on this new stage.
Definitely not been the best years for Europe. We fallen short very early, last many years.
The last vestige of the LEC is white!
We usually brought the teams that were in shaky manners to international events, and then we would just crumble under pressure there.
I want to be the best in Europe, so obviously to be the best I need to be the current best, which is probably G2 right now, and it's actually giving me even more hunger to overcome them.
If you just take one day at a time, trying to learn as much as possible from each day, then you just have to hope that if you manage to do that, it's enough at the end of the road.
I just think I'll do it better next time I play internationally and hopefully represent for Europe.
I kind of want to create a legacy in Europe.
We all sacrifice so much to be here in Berlin playing, living our dream to be a pro player, and the goal is to win LEC obviously, and we are getting closer and closer.
Competing against the people who are like you in your field, right? Like I'm competing in video games against the ones who are also the best at video games. So you want to be the best at what you do, whether that's playing video games or playing football.
I just kind of like the idea of bringing the team from the 10th place and changing my reputation from the last time I was in Light 30.
I just hope we're at the top at the end of summer, and if you don't do that, then it's a failure. If you do, then I'm happy. For me, it's just inherently fun to get better at stuff, to like perfect your craft. Don't really need much motivation besides that.
The fact that I can find something that I can do better is the thing that motivates me the most, because I don't feel like I ever reached a point where I could say I play perfect.
So if anything, I just put more pressure on myself to just push through
preparing for every individual patch, making sure we are as strong as possible each week, become the best possible version of yourself. It requires a lot of precision, it requires a lot of effort, but I believe that we can reach it this year.